So right now we have José Graziano da Silva, the former Director General from Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
A pleasure.
Can you tell us about the panel that you're about to join? What topics are you going to explore?
Well, the panel will address issues related to water scarcity, the future of water management, and so on. And I'm planning to say that everybody always when talk about water in agriculture, started saying that agriculture sectors are responsible for using 3/4 of the fresh water in the world, and we need to save water and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. In fact, that's true. But there is a main issue that I think related to that we forget about, is drinking water. One of the main problems that we see, and that's an issue in Africa also, particularly in the North Africa and the Sahel, is drinking water available for rural people. Rural areas, unfortunately, fresh water is more and more difficult to find, and they are not available when people need it. So one of the main reasons of rural-urban migration nowadays is this problem of drinking water available at the house level. And we need to address that, because this is the base of the food security. We cannot talk about food security if we don't have water, drinking water available. We cannot talk about healthy lives if your children does not have drinking water, and so on. And unfortunately, the progress made in access to drinking water is very slow in the last 10, 15 years. The recent report that the Secretary General of the United Nations addressed the General Assembly last September shows that about 1 billion people does not have any access to drinking water, and about 3 billion people does not have even a place to wash their hands. So there is no minimal condition of sanitation and access to drinking water in this moment. We should look at that as part of the main problems that we have.
Why are governments so slow in solving the solution? In solving this problem?
Because
it's been years.
Usually the Minister of Agriculture is concerned about water for irrigation, water for the farmers. And the Minister of Health concentrate on issues, urban issues, I would say, and also on epidemic issues, like the disease, Ebola, for example, have attract a lot of attention in Africa. But there is little attention for the kids, the children that die from diarrhea due to they do not have appropriate water to drink. I think that we need a change of mind in this approach for water in rural areas.
I guess it's all about going back to basics. Before we look at, obviously, we look at industries that need water. We just need to go back to basics. Would you say that that's what needs to be done?
We look to the production side, and we forget to be efficient in the production side. We need healthy people.
In the end, yeah.
So this is the point. Let's look to make people more healthy, provide them food security, provide them healthy conditions, and we will improve productivity. This is my point.
You worked for Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN. When you were still working there, what was the organization doing to promote South-to-South cooperation?
We started a very promising program that's called 1 million cisterns, based on the Brazilian experience in the Northeast area, is basically to harvest the water from the rainwater and storage this water under the house or near the house. It's called cisterna. It's a traditional practice of Arab countries that stores the little rain that falls in their countries to use it properly in other moments, the one they need. The same idea is being now projected to be implemented in the Sahel countries, where we have about 400 millimeters of rainfall during the year, which is more than enough to provide enough water for a family to survive along the whole year. But the problem is that it rains 1 or 2 days or a week or even a month, so you need to storage properly this water. This is the point.
Yeah. So what conversations do you think governments should be having when it comes to food security, when it comes to, I guess, addressing issues related to food security? I understand that you have mentioned water, but I mean, what other issues are we supposed to be talking about?
Well, food security is a very complex policy. We need first to have the political commitment of the government to implement the food security policy, what we don't have, unfortunately, in many countries. In Africa, only the Portuguese-speaking countries have committed to have a common approach for food security policies until now. But little progress has been made for that. One important progress I have to mention is the school meal programs that are being implemented around the continent in many countries. But that's not enough. We need to have a regular way to provide food for the people. And that, unfortunately, the governments are not doing that.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.